The man on that screen right there next to me, and for the people listening, you will know in a second, he is one of the two voices of the #1 rated morning show in the San Francisco Bay Area on KNBR. It's the Murph and Mac Show, and he's also the host of the Paulie Mac Show, the podcast, right? I might have gotten that name wrong. Paulie freaking Mac in the house again. I love you, brother. Are you ready to talk some Warriors?
Cyrus, so good to see you, man. You're all geared up. You got your Dub Nation t-shirt on.
Yeah.
I'm ready to rock and roll, man. You know, it's my favorite time of the year, Cyrus, because we've done away with the 82 games. We had to get those in the books. Great 3 seed. I'll take that. But now the juices are starting to flow, man, because we're going to have playoff basketball. And Cyrus, you know what? First ever full house capacity crowd at Chase Center for a playoff game this Saturday night. I'm very excited.
That's some information for you. I got playoff fever. So does Paulie. I got a fever.
I got a
prescription. Is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Paulie Mac is so cool. He's not on social media, but you can listen to him every day on the morning show at KNBR. Just stay stream. Go to knbr.com, download the app. He's also the host of the Paulie Mac podcast with Tony Rhein. This was supposed to be a threesome with all of us, but we got technical issues in the KNBR studios.
We do.
An outbreak going on there that's got panic. Dude, like, if people knew the pandemonium before you came on, dude, with you and Tony trying to figure these things out, masks are going on. So what happened? Brian Murphy, is his son or somebody in the house got COVID, and now everyone's
somebody in Murph's house has it. But Cyrus, there's been cases flaring up all over our building, so it's getting to a crisis point. Like, look at me, dude. I'm isolated in some weird green studio right now. And I've got like dramatic green backlighting. I feel like I'm on like in a Metallica video shoot.
What the hell is that, dude? What is going on there?
I'm actually recording this. You want to know what, Cyrus? I'm recording this from the former KFOG 104.5 studio, which is currently being used generally for podcasts, things like this. But there's not like an on-air staff because the KNBR signal is now also on 104.5. So anyway, I'm like in the old abandoned KFOG studio right now.
Oh, dude, R.I.P. KFOG, man. They played some great music, but if there's anything to replace KFOG with that I'm cool with, it's you, man. I'm love hearing you on FM radio. But first things first, man, you're on KNBR. You're the #1 sports station in the San Francisco Bay Area. The playoffs are finally here.
Yeah.
What's the vibe, man? How are you feeling about the Warriors? How's everyone feeling about the Warriors?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Cyrus. I'm glad you asked that question because a couple of weeks ago, I admittedly was getting a little uneasy because they weren't playing good basketball. They just weren't playing cohesive ball. And Draymond Green, I recall like 2 or 3 weeks ago, after one of the losses, Draymond said, "Hey, you know what? Right now," he said this about himself. He goes, "I'm playing so poorly, I'm actually hurting the team when I'm on the floor." Draymond.
Yes.
And I was like, damn, Draymond, like, this is unusual. Now, I know it's such a long haul, and I know that they've been through this before. So in that sense, I had confidence that these guys know what it takes to have a deep playoff run. But Cyrus, I got to tell you, all that being said, I was very happy to see the Warriors kind of refine their game, win 5 straight going out, and to see Klay finishing with one night, I think he had 37, and then the last night of the game, he hit for 41. So those kind of achievements, the 5-game win streak to wrap up the season, and then Klay having a hot hand, it's making me feel much, much better. And now, Cyrus, also, last thing, with a few days off between the end of the regular season and game 1 Saturday night, like, jump into Dr. Order for this team. Let our old guys rest up a little bit. The atmosphere is going to be off the hook. So, Cyrus, I'm actually feeling quite confident as we get ready for round 1. I am.
Dude, I am brimming with confidence, bro. And people have accused me of being a homer. I am critical of this team when it's warranted. Right now, they're looking damn good. And you said it right, man. Klay's looking not only like his old self, but offensively, I almost feel like he's doing better than he's ever been. I mean, I love what I'm seeing. I think the defense still has a little ways to go.
Yeah.
Draymond is back to his old self. How are you feeling about the pool party, dude? That's a party I want a ticket to. I want the VIP access. I'm giving all the money they asked for so I can be a part of that pool party. I'm wearing my board shorts. How are you feeling about the pool party, man?
Well, if there's one thing Cyrus and I bonded on many, many years ago, so like in the early 2000s, it's the guys like Jay Adams who used to bring his board and then skate empty pools.
Yes.
You and I, man, you and I have pool riding in our blood. But no, man, I would say I'm all about the pool party. I love this guy's mature. I love how he's matured this year. You know,
Yes.
Bob Myers was actually getting criticized a little bit, like when Poole was a rookie, like, hey, this kid's not ready for the prime time. He's not as serious about his role as he should be. Somewhere along the line, he got very serious in the offseason because I would tell you this, Cyrus, I think he's grown into like a mature, good, solid player in the NBA. And frankly, where would they be without him this year? Because Klay, Draymond, Steph, Iguodala, all four of those guys have missed time, as you know. And it was Jordan Poole who kept this kind of thing afloat.
Yes.
His points, and as Wiggins started to drop off in the second half, you really needed those points from Poole. And so, no, I think he's going to have a hell of a postseason. I really do. He's ready. He's ready for the big stage.
Dude, he is, man. And he's the full package, dude. He's not just a shooter. He's not just a ball handler.
Yeah.
The guy can get where he wants.
Yeah.
He can hit the mid-range. He's got touch on his shot. He is a future star, maybe future superstar. Every time I criticize Kerr and Bob Myers, man, they just come back and stick it right in my face like I was right, you were wrong, and I just bow down. I am not worthy.
Right.
Every time, man. It's insane, dude. I mean, this has been like, in my opinion, the worst season they've had just because I've never had to question them before. And this year I'm like, yeah, you're doing some things that are a little shady here occasionally. But at the same time, it's like, here they are, number 3 seed.
Well,
the momentum's right behind them.
You know what?
What do you yeah.
Well, no, go ahead, Cyrus. Finish your thought.
Well, you please. I'm done.
Well, I was going to say that in a way, because you're right, this is a different kind of feel to their getting ready to enter the postseason than we've ever seen. And I'm starting to think maybe that's a benefit because in all the previous years, you know, in the Steve Kerr era, it's like the Warriors go in as the number 1 seed with home court throughout, and it's championship or bust. Now I almost feel like maybe there's a little bit of pressure off their shoulders because people are talking about Denver, people are talking about Memphis, people are talking about Phoenix. And I'm saying, like, none of those teams have done what the Warriors have done. None of those teams have gone through 4 rounds of intense playoff postseason basketball. The Warriors know what it takes. So maybe it's better that they lay back a little bit and let the light shine on Phoenix, let the light shine on Denver or any of the other hot teams in the West, because I feel like the Warriors can maybe go in a little bit looser, not having to answer, hey, is it championship or bust? I mean, we all know the deal, Cyrus. We want another ring. We want another ring. But I think that this 3 seed might be a benefit. I do.
I'm with you, dude. I'm totally with you. And I love that they flew under the radar. You're right. The pressure was off in a lot of ways. What do you do? What are you hearing about Steph, man? The playoff schedule came out. And again, I ask you this because you host a morning show, dude. You're hearing a million things there. People don't understand that when you're in the media game, the general populace here is maybe 5% of all the really interesting stuff that's going on. Just because you can't talk a lot, man. You're going to burn bridges. You're going to insult people personally. But there's a lot of juicy stuff behind the scenes. You're hearing a lot of it. What's Steph? Game 1 is Saturday. Game 2 is Monday. That's a short turnaround. But then game 3 is Thursday. What are you hearing and what do you feel about Steph?
Okay, so first of all, I know that Coach Kerr talked to Tom Tolbert yesterday on the air about this. It sounds like, Cyrus, as simple as this. It sounds like Steph has made progress. They're working him out. He's shooting. He's on the floor. They will kind of like determine whether or not he can go, I think, as late as Saturday afternoon. I think it's going to be a game time thing. But I feel, first of all, if Steph can't go on Saturday, that's fine because then he has 3 extra days to rehabilitate and rest up and get ready. And game 2, like you said, is Monday. So you know what? If you go game 1, this team is perfectly capable of winning a game without Steph Curry. So I would be cautious now rather than trot him out there early, get him hurt again, and then miss him. I feel like if there's any question, rest him a game 1, and we'll try to get him out there for game 2. That's my expectation. But I don't think we'll know, Cyrus, till Saturday afternoon.
I'm with you, man. And another piece of information that came out is that Steph is going to scrimmage with the team on Thursday. Kerr said he needs to see that before greenlighting Steph playing. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this take that I'm going to give you right here.
Okay.
If Steph doesn't play in game 1 and the Warriors win, my strong feeling is we're not going to see Steph till game 3 because you might as well just give them 5 more days off. You're up 1-0. We got the pool party. We just proved we can beat this team without Steph. But if they lose game 1 without Steph, I think you see him in game 2. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's a very measured, reasonable take. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, actually, because if you prove to Coach Kerr and you prove to Denver that you can win without Steph, all the better. Like, all the better. There's no need to risk Steph Curry. Cyrus, you know how long this postseason is, dude. If this goes well, they're going to be playing basketball for another 2 months. So,
yes,
right. So, again, dude, I would rather take my chances and be cautious now rather than trot him out there too soon and then wind up losing stuff. So, yeah, great call by you, actually. Win game 1 without him. Most likely wouldn't see him until game 3, unless he can assure the staff and Rick Celebrini, the trainer, that he is good to go for game 2. But actually, I like your plan, Cyrus. That makes sense.
Just look at you. Look at you with this green thing going on here. What? Look.
Hey, by the way, I got to get one non-Warriors note in real quick because
yes,
I'm a big extreme sports fan, and he turned me onto it in a lot of ways. Have you seen the Tony Hawk documentary on HBO?
Oh, not yet. No, I'm going to. You've been hyping this thing up, and everyone said it's amazing.
Oh, I
what are your thoughts?
Bro, my respect for Tony Hawk already was off the charts. Now I look at him like he's Wayne Gretzky, he's Tiger Woods, he's Matt. I mean, this guy, the footage I saw, and they kind of get inside his head, Cyrus. It's called Tony Hawk Until the Wheels Come Off. Mm-hmm. And it's got footage of him like pulling off the 900 for the first time. Dude, mind blowing. Anyway, check it out, Cyrus. I know you'll love it.
I'm going to, and that 900 you talk about. Sorry, Dub Nation, for veering here for a second, but that 900 was memorable, dude. I was in college in SLO when that happened, but it was in San Francisco, and I think he celebrated that same event by flying into the Bay. Is that right? Does my memory serve correct, or someone did?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that in the movie, but he might have.
Maybe it might not have been Tony. Someone I remember flew off the ramp into the Bay, and that was just like, it capitulated the whole thing. Yeah. Dude, bro, I love you, man. I know you got to run. Things are going crazy at the KNBR studios. We got a COVID outbreak. You got to play it safe. So you're going to transfer to the co-host of the Paulie Mac podcast, and that is Tony Rhein. All three of us go back decades. You two go back way further, but we all together go back over 20 years.
We do.
I was hoping we all three could do this. We'll do it again at some point.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude, during the postseason, let's definitely do this again, and we'll get all three of us at the same time. But for now, I feel like I'm inventing my own Olympic sport. It's like the relay, the podcast relay, dude. Instead of a baton, I'm running on the track with a laptop. So stand by, Cyrus. I'm going to transfer this to Creative Tony. Stand by.
You do your thing, man. That was Paulie Mac. Your camera is now off, and he's going to transfer to Tony Rhein, who's the creative director in my old position at KNBR. The last few years I was there. And while he's doing that, there are some great companies who help pay the bills for this show, and I got to give them some love right now. First off, Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that gives you the features of $200 sunglasses for just a fraction of the price. That means polarized lenses, well-constructed, durable frames, and premium high-end finishes. Also, something you won't find anywhere else is Shady Rays' Insane Protection Program. Folks, you know what it's like with sunglasses. A lot of people don't bother spending big money because these things get broken easily. They get lost easily. Summer's around the corner. If you're going to the lake or somewhere and you drop those shades in the water, they're gone. Well, with Shady Rays, they offer an insane protection program. Shady Rays includes lost and broken protection on every pair. They're going to send you a brand new pair if you lose them, no matter what happened. Give them a try. And if you don't love them, you'll pay nothing. It's as simple as that. Plus, 10 meals are donated to fight hunger in America when you shop with Shady Rays. Exclusively for our listeners, head to shadyrays.com and use the code LOCKEDON to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That code again is locked on for their best deal of the season. 50% off 2 or more pairs of Shady Rays sunglasses, backed by over 150,000 verified 5-star reviews. And today's show is also brought to you by Built Bar, a super long-time sponsor of the program. These yummy treats are the best protein bars you could find out there. Hall of Famer Rick Barry has his package on the way. The next time he comes on, I'm going to ask for his feedback on it as well. People try these things. They love them. And the reason why, they taste great. They're covered in 100% real chocolate. Yes, 100% real chocolate. These are low-calorie, high-protein protein bars. Sorry to be redundant there. Replace your candy bars with these. They're just better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere to 200 to 300 calories. With a Built Bar, 130 calories. You only get 4 grams of sugar for Built Bar and yet a whopping 17 grams of protein. I love these things because I feel full when I just have one. I feel energized. I feel ready to go for the rest of the day. They got amazing flavors: mint brownie, coconut, coconut almond, and now for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream to complement my favorite flavor, cookies and cream. They're all delicious. As I mentioned a moment ago, they're covered in 100% real chocolate, and they're all about the taste. Just go to built.com, use the promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Again, use the promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at built.com.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, nightly recaps of every NBA game with analysis from our local experts. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. The baton has been passed from Paulie Mac to Tony Rhein, the creative director and co-host of the Paulie Mac podcast. You can see his handle right there and follow him on Twitter at CreativeTonyR. Tony, you're in the nerve central of KNBR. The brain, you're behind everything that goes on there. How are you doing, brother? How are you handling that COVID outbreak there? It sounds crazy.
Yeah. All of a sudden he's poof, right? And magically he's gone. Yeah, man. Are we going through like another mini surge? I don't know. I take the train to work, right? And
You mentioned that, man. You still do that? I've completely given up on public transportation, bro. Kudos to you. That's
well,
sketchy to me.
I definitely gave up, right? And then I started driving back to work when I started coming back in studio, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, traffic is back in a big way.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check out the train, but I always carry masks in my bag, right? So I realized that to get on the train, they want you to wear a mask. So okay, fine. But then I get to work and hear about, that we've got some COVID flying around, and it's like, I guess it's just never going away. And
Why wouldn't
I urge,
probably not.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to get, we don't have to get knee deep into it because I want to talk Dubs, but
Yeah.
I just urge everybody to trust science and medicine, and
That's fair, man.
and
That's fair.
and let the professionals do the work and trust them. Kind of like they trust you, Cy, and kind of like they trust Paulie and myself, and to just spew knowledge about sports, man. So how
You're
are you?
preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir, dude. And just listen to the people who know what they're talking about. I don't think that's
Yeah.
unreasonable to ask.
No.
But why are you even going to work, man? I feel like if there's one bright side to this whole nightmare that we've all dealt with the last 2.5 years, it's that we suddenly realize you don't have to go to work to be productive. Like, you can actually, with modern technology, do a lot of the work in your PJs. You can spend time with your family. You can still get all the work done. Why are you going to work, dude? I don't want to put you in a hot spot and blame people that will get you in trouble, but what's the reasoning behind it? Is it just more, do they think that you're going to be more productive?
How about the corporate answer is because I'm a team guy, Cyrus. That's the corporate answer. The Tony answer is I 100% agree with you. I worked from home for like 19 months.
Yeah.
In our guest bedroom, turned that into a studio, did all my voice work there, did all my production there, and exactly how you're doing it there. So it's now I kind of worked it out to where I come in 2 or 3 days a week, as is right now, and that's fine. I do enjoy coming in and seeing the guys and shooting the bleep with them, especially like right after the morning show. We always kind of have a session in my studio, kind of discuss what's going on in the day and what's coming up, and it's really kind of like a post-show meeting for those guys. And then they leave, and then Pop and Lunder on the air, and then Tolbert and Copes swing by the studio, and they were on their way in before they start their show. It's fun to be in the studio and get work done, and also see everybody. And to be honest with you, Tolbert is our beer aficionado, and I love beer as well. And so half the time, actually more than half the time, he's coming in to alert me to a new brewery or a new beer, and or I'll come in with beer for him, or vice versa. And so that's actually part of it as well. So it's not just all sports here. It's hops and barley, and also some 420 chatter as well. You know, we're cannabis conscious here, and medicinal minded, as they say.
Choo.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that's maybe everybody just chill out, eat a gummy, trust science, and let's move on.
Oh, I love it, man. That is great advice. And for people that are listening or watching this and don't understand, I don't know how they could. Like, your studio is the hub of that place, man. I've been in some of those social events. You're just shooting the crap. It's so much fun, dude, because you're keeping it real. The mics are off, right? And you can just say what you want. It's unfiltered.
Oh,
and
Cyrus,
it's just,
I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody say, "Well, you're not recording, are you?" And it's like, no, never. And that gives the freedom for an open discussion, right? Like a really open, honest discussion. But I'm very excited for Saturday as we're recording this on Wednesday. Very excited. I know you must be thrilled.
yes.
Dare I say that I'm rather confident in this series, and I'm confident even if Steph isn't able to play or only plays a minimal role. Denver's banged up as well, and I love the youth movement that the Warriors have worked on all season long. It's really something to behold, that if the Warriors were to not even win it all, but get back to the finals with all of the roadblocks they've had this season, it might be the best coaching job of Steve Kerr's career. I would venture to say, because of what he and the entire staff and team has had to deal with.
Yeah, and I'm with you in a lot of ways. We'll touch on that in just a second, because we got to pay some bills. And Athletic Greens, I don't know if you've ever heard of them before.
I use them every morning.
Okay. Well, you just helped. So I'm here pumping up the AG1. That's like one of their main products. Is that what you put in your body too?
So I do the little drop, right?
Okay.
And then I also do the scoop of powder every day.
Yes. That's it.
Shake it up, 12 ounces of water. I do it. By the way, viewers, excuse me.
Both.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Do it on an empty stomach as you start your days. That's what I do. And to be honest with you, it kind of gets me through the morning, where I don't need much else in the morning, except for maybe water and coffee or tea. And I love it. So that's all I'm going to say is I've been taking it for about a month, because Paulie asked me if I wanted to try it, because he's been talking about it on our station. And I was like, absolutely. And I trust the Kiwis too, by the way.
No, dude, New Zealand is a great place. I love the Kiwis. You and I have done our fair of traveling, and Aussies and Kiwis you can't beat them. They're just incredible people. Yes. And you just did the entire read for me. Thank you. It's just like you said, you just literally do a scoop in the morning. It's great for your acumen. It's great for your digestive system. It's great for your immune system. With COVID rampant in the KNBR building, I'd recommend maybe doing a second one. I don't know if that's advised, but and it's phenomenal. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NBA network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NBA network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Also, real quick.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
He is Tony Rhein. You can follow him on Twitter at Creative Tony. Or finish your thought, man. You're not the first person that's been cut off by that billboard. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, first of all, nicely produced, as I always love to hear good production, because that's what I do for my gig when I'm not co-hosting the Paulie podcast or co-hosting fantasy football with Adam Copeland. And so I was just gonna say, look at the ingredients of athletic greens. It's all legit. Like, look at the ingredients, and it's all legit and natural and yummy stuff for your body. So that's all I was gonna say.
No, dude,
as we get older, we got
more, man. I love it. Here's okay. So I'll give you some pushback about the Kerr thing, because on one hand, you're absolutely right, dude. I mean, the roster he's been given is this weird mix of like old school veterans, champions, and then you got some rookies and second year guys, third year guys. In the case of Jordan Poole. My only gripe with Kerr this year has been the minute distribution. Like, I wish Kuminga was playing like 25, 30 a night. I wish Moody, when he got back from his injury, was playing 25, 30 a night. Sometimes we see him play a lot. Sometimes we don't see him at all. But at the same time, you're right, man. And Kerr, we trust that, Kerr, rarely does he ever let you down.
It's that. Yeah. Also, I think Kerr being through his own playing days with the Bulls and the Spurs, especially, and having to juggle the egos and watching how Phil Jackson juggled the egos of Michael Jordan, Pippen, and all those guys. I think that really helps as well, because he's had to balance, getting Looney his minutes, right? And then also the fact that he's done this without James Wiseman. I mean, I think he thought Wiseman was going to be back in the fall, like late fall. And now it turns out that he's gone for the whole season, which is such a bummer, because that kid has such potential. So I'm really excited to see him down the road. But I just think that when all of the things, yes, sure, maybe in certain games, in the moment, maybe a mismanagement of minutes. But if there's anybody that is humble enough to learn from his own mistakes, right? And like watch tape or talk to the other coaches and say, hey, maybe I should have used Moody more, or maybe I should have had Kuminga in longer. It's Steve Kerr. Like, he's almost, it's impossible for a human to be ego-less, but he's pretty darn close, where he just seems to be in it for the greater good, right?
And it's a great call, man.
Yeah, and so that's what I really enjoy about Steve Kerr. And I saw a headline, it's clickbait, of course, about, is it time to get rid of Steve Kerr? And I was like, oh my God, like, are you serious? I'll take Kerr for another 10 years if he wants to coach,
all day, any day. No, you're right, man. And you know what's funny is, like, people on like social media, especially, where they'll call for his head the moment things are going bad. Right. And my response is always, well, who are you going to replace him with? Like, who are you going to find out that's any better? And the only name that's ever come up is Ty Lue, a guy who's never led his team to more than 47 wins in a regular season, who just lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Great game, by the way, with Paul George. And on a side note, by the way, for people that aren't aware of this, and sorry to make this political, I know we've talked about COVID a little bit, but I don't know if you remember that, if you saw that protester last night in that game who tried to glue her hand on the court. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
It was a weird, funky scene. I can't remember if it was in the second quarter or when it was, but all of a sudden there was an interruption of the game. Yeah. And Kevin Harlan at first was like, "Oh, I think one of the Timberwolves like staff members fell down," and then we realized, okay, it's a protester, and the protester tried to glue her hand to the court. And obviously it didn't work. They just picked her up and took her away, and they had to get the glue off the court. It looked just like the Elmers. It looked like totally cheesy glue. But what she was protesting, when I found out this morning, was very valid. It was actually something that when I learned this, I was like, whoa, this is actually a serious thing. Is that outgoing Minnesota Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor? He's one of these individuals who is like a corporate farmer, and one of his ventures is he has like this farm in Iowa that has millions of chickens for eggs, right? And they're kept in these confined spaces. It's an enclosed environment, and there's millions of them in these little cages next to each other, right? And here's what she was protesting, though, and this is repulsive to me, is that apparently they found bird flu in this environment, and these viruses and diseases always come from animals being in these closed, confined spaces. You could make the argument COVID is because of similar animal treatment in China. I'm a huge animal advocate, so when I hear stories like these, it really bugs me. So their solution to this is, let's close the ventilation to this indoor confined space and suffocate the birds and adding high heat to it and killing millions of chickens alive, right? There's nothing humane about that. No. So not only was she protesting that, she was also protesting that after they conducted this heinous, inhumane action, some of the chickens survived. They found like live birds. Some of them were buried alive after the fact. And when this information got out, obviously, like, individuals like this protester were just obviously offended. So kudos to the protester for that. Thanks for raising awareness for this, man.
No question. That's really going out of your way to make a statement, which I appreciate. And those birds are, not to get too deep into it, but those birds are probably already pumped up with a bunch of hormones already to make them big balloons, right? To get those, to get them more meat on their bones. But I mean, that the cruelty factor on that is through the roof. Yeah, and I'm glad she's raising awareness. And it's like right there, I'm instantly anti Minnesota now.
But Glenn Taylor's on his way out, which is the one good thing. But I think he's still the owner. I don't think A-Rod and his new partnership group has taken over yet. But that's what she was protesting. And Allie LaForce was taking some heat, the sideline reporter for NBA on TNT, because the way she framed her tweets reporting the story seemed to indicate that she was like criticizing the protester without even like, and it was kind of offensive the way she wrote it. If you want to see her tweet, just go to Allie LaForce's Twitter account. But anyways, that's what happened there. We're just going all over the political map today. I apologize to the listeners of this program. Let's talk Warriors real quick, man. I
gotta say to the listeners, though, that's why I love Cy. And Cy have been literally colleagues and friends for almost 3 decades.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I can talk anything, anytime. Believe it or not, Cy and I basically kind of connected over a surfing show way back when we worked together. And so Cy, I'll talk chickens, the cruelty of chickens. I'll talk athletic greens. I'll talk, gummies. I'll talk whatever. I was just watching the Joe Montana Niners thing on Peacock. I'll talk. Niners. Have you seen that thing, by the way?
No. Okay. No. What is it?
You gotta watch it. 6-piece series on Joe Montana on Peacock. That's absolutely amazing. It's phenomenal. It's so well done. It's gonna get you pissed. And it's gonna bring tear to your eye as well, and bring a lot of joy. But it's a roller coaster ride with Montana. It's great.
What am I gonna get pissed about the way he got pushed out of the Niners, or what pissed you off?
Yeah, there's that. You're also just gonna get very upset at Leonard Marshall all over again in the New York Giants, and
dude,
it's just. But it also goes through all of the glory days too. So I highly recommend it. I'm looking forward for something to be made like about Steph Curry down the road, because
there will be. There will be.
So, Cy, my kids, they're 8 and 7 years old, 14 months.
They're that old now?
Yeah.
I swear to God, they were just 2 and 1. Like, what the hell happened there, man? Oh my God. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you. When people say it flies, it really, truly does. So any parents out there know what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying that my kids now are really into the Dubs, Giants, Niners, but especially Steph Curry, not only for obviously just being an incredible physical talent, but also because of the way he conducts himself, right? And the way he is such a family man, the way he has stayed out of trouble, the way that he has stayed behind his beliefs to the core, and he supports his wife in every endeavor she dives into, and he's a great teammate and leader, and they need him back. Like I said, I think they can win this series without him. But beyond that, I don't know about that.
No. Yeah, beyond the Nuggets is the extent of it, dude. Anything beyond the Nuggets, and you're not doing jack, without Stephen Curry. But what are you feeling, man? I mean, you literally talk to every host. You've been producing Tolbert for nearly 30 years. I don't think people realize that. I mean, you were his direct producer. You still work with him. Tolbert and Steve Kerr played together in Arizona. And Kerr, by the way, I don't know if you know this. I interviewed him 5 years ago. He's a surfer. He's a big time surfer. Judd Bushler turned him on to it, of all people.
Nice. Well, that goes back to the Arizona connection, right?
Yep.
Right.
And the Klay Thompson thing, and I love talking about his career, because for a while, when Klay Thompson came back, he was struggling. Like there was concern about whether or not he was ever going to be his old self, whether he was actually hurting the team a little bit. I even unabashedly a couple times in this program said maybe they should bring him off the bench, a la Manu Ginobili. I mean, I still expect him to finish games, but maybe just let the team have a better start. And then it occurred to me, and I said this a couple weeks ago, that's never going to happen, because Steve Kerr was on that Bulls team when Michael Jordan came back from his first retirement.
Right.
And Jordan was out of the game for a year and a half, and even he was not his old self for that whole first season. He came back, and he didn't leave because of injury. He just left because he was whatever reasons. I mean, you could speculate. I mean, according to him, he was just kind of like burnt out. Obviously, the conspiracy stuff is he had got into gambling trouble, but
is that when he tried to play baseball too?
He did, yeah, for the White Sox, for their minor league team, right?
The Barons or whatever it was.
Yeah, which was awesome. He actually did okay. I mean, well, he wasn't great,
okay.
but he was okay. But but he saw that, and that just made me realize, like, he's not going to bench Klay, dude. Like he views Klay in a similar stature, and it's just great to see Klay Thompson come back. What are your feelings about this Nuggets game, man? I share your confidence, dude. I think they could win this series without Steph. I don't want to see that, but I do think they could win it without him. It just will be harder. But how are you feeling, man? Like, how are you feeling about the Warriors as a whole? Give the audience the picture of Tony Rhein, co-host of the Paulie Mac podcast. I did not know you were doing that fantasy football show. That is awesome. But you're also literally in the nerve center of the #1 sports talk radio station in the San Francisco Bay Area. Well, how are you feeling, dude, with everything you're hearing?
My only concern is the chemistry, right? Just from Draymond being gone so long, from Klay being gone so long, now Curry out. They haven't had a lot of time together this season, and the youngsters haven't had a lot of time seeing how just dominant those guys can be when they're all together on the floor, right? And Iguodala is a factor too, and I'm glad the guy didn't play it much this season at all, and that's fine because he'll show up in the playoffs. And my only concern about Klay too is that his defense is what I feel like he's not fully back defensively.
Yeah.
That guy was locked down before he got hurt, and I'm hoping that maybe there's a switch that flips for the postseason. But I the only thing that worries me is the chemistry, and that's why I think Curry being the glue comes back. And that, back to your point about maybe about Klay needs to be on the floor. Say he's not producing points, but he's still producing in the chemistry department, right?
Yes.
And I think that is infectious. And as far as the energy amongst the team, I think that is crucial to their success. And then Draymond, the three of them, it's all about the three of them. If they can be the core and then literally show the youngsters this is how it's done, right? And they haven't had a lot of time to do that with the youngsters. And that's what's so impressive with Moody and Poole and Wiggins and Kuminga is that they've done this, they've won over 50 games without any of their stars together for more than a couple games.
You're right. So 14 minutes, I think, is the number specifically. I think this 14 minutes total.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know it was that little. I knew it was I knew it was few, but I didn't know it was that little.
Because Draymond came back for few, but he was on like a minute restriction, and they weren't on the court together for that much. So like it's a ridiculously low number. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
So think about that those youngsters still had a good season without that nucleus being together. And if that nucleus comes together, then these guys are just like, oh, I'm on board, right? Let's roll. Also, Draymond has to watch the T's. He's got no technicals. He's got to keep it in check. I love his passion. My dad calls him the Ronnie Lott of the Warriors, right? And so I love that.
Dude, I'm going to stop you there for a second. Hold on, stop with the Ronnie Lott of the Warriors. I've never heard that. I love it. That is, dude, your dad is an amazing human being. I love your dad, dude. He's how's he doing? How's Pops?
He's good. He's good.
Good. That's phenomenal, man. Tell him I love that analogy, dude. That is fantastic. Love it. Continue on, please.
I love his attitude because he's, he'll be 78 in July. He's like, Tony, I never thought the Giants would win in my life, win a ring in my lifetime. I never knew the Warriors would be this good in my lifetime. Now he's like, I'm playing with house money now. He's like, so the way he watches playoffs now, it's like, everything's gravy now, and I appreciate and respect that. I'm not there yet because I want more, and
we're spoiled, dude. I mean, we grew up with the Niners. I mean, that alone spoiled this rod. I'm like, your uncle is Paul Tonelli of Lamont Tonelli. Correct. And I don't know how many times he's lectured me because he grew up with like John Brody and a lot of crappy players and Niner teams. And you and I grew up with like Eddie D. It's like, and he's like, you guys are so spoiled. It's ridiculous, but we are, man. It's crazy.
I will say though, when it comes to the Warriors, you and I, Cyrus, and all Warriors fans sat through a very dismal period where I feel like those that didn't abandon ship deserve all this goodness because, man, I remember going and paying $5 for a ticket the day of for Warriors games because nobody was going, right?
If we paid, if Raymond Ritter wasn't begging us to come for free, right?
Oh, shout out Raymond, the best in the
Yes.
business, the best in the business. I've actually, I'll be watching the games with my kids, be like, guys, that's Raymond. You guys got to know who Raymond is. And they're like, it's funny that, and he gets a lot of camera time too,
Tons.
But
he's kind of becoming a star on social media, dude. Like he's blowing up. Yeah, everyone's recognizing.
He's a fun follow too. But I want to also think about the front office and their eye for talent.
Yeah.
Think about the kids that they have pulled into this team. I mean, Moody. I mean, the way Kerr talks about Moody, and you said in Kerr we trust. I also like I've adopted that with in Farhan we trust. Like, right? But
yeah,
it's just these guys have an eye for talent, and the way that I don't know. I mean, and Jordan Poole. I mean, I expect Jordan Poole. If Curry does not play in the Denver series, I expect Jordan Poole. It'll be his time to shine. He might even shine regardless, but I think especially if Curry's out because he is
right, man. And I had someone, and I do read those YouTube replies sometimes if I have time. I just want to see that. I just want to see feedback and curious. And and one person says something that I respected. He criticized me for saying, "Don't put too much pressure on Jordan Poole. It's only his third year. Sure. Let's say he lays an egg in the playoffs. Like we can't really harp on him too much, man. It's a lot to put on someone's shoulders. But with that said, dude, you're right. I expect great things, dude. The kid is that talented. Well, and kudos to Bob Myers, man. I mean, he picked this guy at the end of the first round. It's insane.
See, and a guy like Jordan Poole is relishing this opportunity. I don't think I expect him to rise up to the occasion. I really do. Same. I don't expect him to, it's guys like that literally when they're a kid and when they sign their scholarship to Michigan or wherever, in whatever case it may be, dreaming of these kinds of opportunities, right? Especially if Curry can't go. So it's, again, we're recording this Wednesday, so news will come out later in the week about Curry, but it's just, my confidence is really high with Curry and it's still high without him for this series. And I just get the nucleus back together. Just get that nucleus. Because I mean, we're so lucky, Cy. Like we're going to look back on this period of Warriors basketball, like the way that older people look back at, like, the mid-70s Warriors basketball, with Rick Barry.
Yes.
I mean, like your guy. How's he doing, by the way?
Oh, Rick is great, dude. If you ever want to come on and join us, let me know, man. We do a show about once or twice a month. We try to get big guests, and so I kind of treat that show as the big guest show, and then this is like the daily Warriors talk. And
totally,
he joins me here too, man. He's doing great. Yeah, he's fantastic, dude. And I honestly think this Warriors team is starting to approach like 80s, 90s Niners level of stature, dude. Like
Absolutely. Yes, they are right there. I mean, if they get another ring, yes, absolutely. And I got to tell the listeners a Rick Barry story really quick.
Please, man. Yeah.
When Rick used to be on the air middays on KNBR, I think it was with Rod. I think it was with Rod Brooks.
Rod Bro? No, he did a solo for I think almost the entire thing.
And he did it from his house in Colorado Springs.
Correct.
I'll never forget. Rick used to do it, like you said, from his house. And this is a long time ago, before it was commonplace for people to do their shows remotely, right?
Correct.
And I'll never forget that we go to break, and then he says to me, Tony, how long's this break? And I said, oh, it's 4.5 minutes. And he goes, perfect. I'll be right back. And I go, okay. Then I can hear in the background a shower running, or a faucet, what sounds like a faucet.
It was a shower.
Then he comes back and he goes, okay. And I go, Rick, did you just take a shower? And he goes, I did. He goes, don't tell anybody, but I'm doing this next segment in my towel. And I was like, that's the best, Rick. I said, to be honest with you, I kind of want you to tell the listeners, but I get why you wouldn't. So yeah, Rick,
that's a fun. And honestly, Rick would, dude. He's so like transparent that he would be totally cool with that. That's what I love about Rick. Is I love a lot of things about him, but his favorite line is that Jack Nicholson quote from A Few Good Men: "You can't handle the truth," because he'll just say what's on his mind, and some people just can't handle it, dude. It's just too much for him. But that's a great dude. His lineup of producers during his 5 years at KNBR, it was like me, you, Matt Bernath, a name that's totally out of the woodworks, right? Totally. RC Davis, who does halftime shows with the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Mike Holler, I think, is still with you guys, right?
KNBR, yeah.
And then Sam Batesh, who's now like a really big time executive for, I think, CBS Sports. Yeah, he was like a Hall of Fame lineup for his producers, man. It was a fun time. And you're right. He would take showers. He would tell us during commercial breaks. Remember, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking outside. I see a deer. It's just beautiful. It's just serene."
Yes.
Like, you just tell us the whole story of what's going on from his view in Colorado Springs, wherever, his house is. And it was hilarious, dude. You're absolutely right, man.
Those are the
hope you don't get COVID.
No, I know.
I hope.
No. Knock on wood for you, buddy.
Yeah, dude, I am, man. I'm locking on wood right now. And I hope everything's okay there. Congrats on the family, brother. Let's get you and Paulie back. Let's do this appropriately with the triangle soon, maybe in the next couple weeks. Anything you want to promote, dude? You got the Paulie Mac podcast?
5 Fingers, Warriors in 5, I think, by the way, in this series.
That's my call too, man. That's my call.
Awesome.
Same.
And Paulie Mac, if you just search Paulie Mac podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, that'd be great. We do it every week. And why I think we have traction with listeners is that it's not a hardcore X's and O's podcast on a sports station. It's more the feedback I get constantly is it sounds like we're sitting around a bar talking sports and life and pop culture. And
you know what? No, to me, like, the number one formula for successful program of any kind is chemistry. And you guys have it. Is Shannon still on your show?
Oh yeah. Shannon Kaler of the Stone Foxes, great band out of San Francisco. Yes. Stonefoxes.com. They're just starting their tour this week, down the West Coast and over to Texas. So check them out. Yeah, they're going all the way down south and then over to Texas. So
good for them, man. And yeah, you can find the Paulie Mac podcast on all podcasting platforms. Tony, it's great to see you and finally do this. There were a lot of years, man, where you had a few people contriving all the power in the media, and they thought we should be behind the scenes, right? F you to them, man. That's what I'll say to that, because these people are a joke. And if there's anything that I love about the media game just opening up for anyone, is now we can see who's actually talented and who can actually do this. And we don't have just one person making all these calls. So dude, I love that you're broadcasting, and people have no idea how much your fingerprints are on all the shows at KNBR. So keep it going, brother. It's great to see you, man.
Thank you,
brother.
That's
it. Follow Tony on Twitter at CreativeTonyR. Follow me on Twitter at Doxer Froat Show. This program on Twitter at Locked On Dubs. And tomorrow I'm doing a crossover show with the Locked On Nuggets program. That should be interesting. And I don't think they're gonna like when I tell them that the series is over in 5. But I'm gonna throw it, man. We'll see what happens. Tony, great to see you, brother. Later, man.
Thanks, man. Go Dubs.
Go Warriors, man.